Victor Wembanyama is one of the most exciting names in sports, and he has been hyped up to be the next greatest player in the NBA. He is 7'5" and has the handle of KD and has the ability to basically be a demigod on 2K, and he also looks to be a great block and rebound machine. I mean, we've never seen a player like this before in our lifetime, and this is why he is getting all this hype, and this is why it is also concerning. Because after his Summer League games, it has been very clear how Victor is going to be perceived in the NBA once he plays his rookie season. Just his first game, while defensively he was pretty solid, he was not good on offense, and everyone on social media was eating this up. People were shocked and surprised that he did so poorly, but there were also people who were expecting this to happen to help prove their argument that Victor will be a bust. Yes, there are people out there that do perceive Victor Wembanyama as him being overrated and him just being another player that's possibly going to never exceed expectations. But then in the second Summer League game, he had an amazing one, and he was exceptionally great, and all the haters who were preaching about Wemby were silent. But at the end of the day, it is just the Summer League. It is not the end-all and be-all for every NBA rookie in the Summer League. I mean, we have yet to see them in the NBA, so who knows what could happen. But how do I personally feel about Wembanyama as a player? Because honestly, I've never talked about him on this channel, and I never even talked about him on my community tabs or anything, so this is new for me. Because I honestly think Wembanyama has a lot of potential. From the first moment I ever heard of this guy, I knew that he was going to be hyped up and everyone would talk about him strictly because of the fact that he is 7'5" and he plays like a 2K demigod. I mean, that alone was going to get a lot of people talking on social media. The hype surrounding this guy throughout the entire year was crazy, and everyone was rushing to see him play in every single game overseas, even to the point where the NBA app was playing his games because he was must-see TV. I mean, one of the most viewed games of the year was Wembanyama versus Scoot Henderson, which was a very good game. It was a preview between the first and second pick, and Wembanyama prevailed in that matchup. He played a lot better than Scoot Henderson. Even though Scoot had a great game, Wembanyama was just sensational, and everyone was talking about it on social media. I mean, this was a must-watched game. Then comes the NBA draft, and everyone had it in their heads that Wembanyama was going to be the first pick. And when the San Antonio Spurs became the #1 pick for the NBA draft, everyone knew who they were going to pick, and it became Wembanyama. And honestly, I think the San Antonio Spurs drafting Wembanyama is great for their franchise, as it is another first-round pick who's also a big man, and honestly, he has the potential to be their franchise player for years to come. And with him being the first pick and getting drafted, I knew right away this is where it all starts for him. I personally believe that every move that he makes from this point forward, as soon as he steps on the hardwood floor of his first NBA game in October, it is going to be watched heavily under a microscope, and it's going to be very intense. Everyone has expectations that people think Wemby can reach, and these are very big ones. As for example, just recently, Kenny Smith said that Wembanyama has the potential to be an MVP in his 4th year, which honestly is not that insane to say, but at the same time, that is just a high bar already, and he never even played an NBA game yet. Do I think he is capable of winning an MVP in his 4th year? Absolutely. The dude is a generational talent. He's like a once-in-a-lifetime player that we can ever see in the NBA. Before this, we've never seen a player like Wembanyama do the things that he can do. And if he can do the things that he was able to do overseas in the NBA is going to change forever. It is going to be even bigger for European players all around the world who want to go to the NBA. We already have European players and overseas players taking over the NBA and becoming the faces of the league. I mean, look at Giannis and Jokic and Embiid. They are 3 of the best players in the league, and they're from overseas, and they have become one of the greatest players in our game today. So with all the hype that's surrounding Wembanyama, it is honestly worrying me, because the hype is getting very surreal, and as much as I think he is a great player and it's exciting to watch, there is just this lingering thought of what if he's a failure and if he turns out to be a bust and all this hype is for nothing. We have seen a lot of players who have been hyped up before and have been compared to all-time legends and set high expectations, and they were never able to exceed them. For example, Andrew Wiggins and Ben Simmons are 2 that pop up in my head. However, Wiggins, despite never seeming to live up to the Maple Jordan hype, he recovered his career and became a vital piece to the Warriors and became a champion. Or oddly enough, and people are going to wonder why I'm saying this, but Zion Williamson too, because I remember when Zion Williamson was being compared to becoming the next LeBron James when he was coming out of Duke. And while he is very talented and he has the potential to be one of the greatest players in the league, At the same time, his health is holding him back, and everything that's happening off court is just holding him back, and it's kind of hindering his growth as a player, and it's making people just honestly stop thinking about Zion as a whole. So for Wemby, I am excited, but I am also worried because I hope history does not repeat itself and he ends up being added to the list of names that never exceeded the hype. We already got a taste of that in his first Summer League game, and it was very crazy. So imagine 82 games of it and going forward. And to be honest, we have seen this before in an NBA player who had a lot of expectations that were very, very high. The whole Wembanyama situation is very similar to LeBron James when he was coming into the league, because the hype for this guy was also insane. He was incredible in high school, and he had fans showing up to his games like it was an NBA event. He had players in the league before he even got drafted already hating on him, had a lot of publicity and fame, and he was only 18 years old. That is how big the hype was back then. And when he got drafted, the spotlight was very bright. Throughout his entire career, he was given so much expectations. I mean, in his rookie year, he already had a bar set on if he did not make an all-star team, he was already considered to be a bust. I mean, that is how crazy the hype was for LeBron James. But at the end of the day, we all know what happened to LeBron's career. He ended up becoming one of the greatest players to ever play the game, if not the greatest player to ever play the game. And he just exceeded everything that people set for his career. And I honestly predict that Wembanyama is going to get the same treatment that LeBron got, if not worse, because now we are in an age where social media is at an all-time high and NBA Twitter is at an all-time high, and they are going to dissect everything that Wembanyama does. And if he makes one wrong move, it is going to blow up and spread like a wildfire. But to be honest, I think Wembanyama, while all my worries for him as a player, I do think he's going to be great in the NBA. And I really hope he's able to prove all of his doubters wrong and become one of the greatest players to ever play the game. And hopefully, he becomes one of the most influential players in the NBA. I have nothing but good luck towards the guy, and I think he is going to shock the world with his play in the upcoming 2023-24 season. Will Wembanyama live up to the hype? We will soon see. With that being said, leave a like and comment down below what you think about Victor Wembanyama as a player, and do you think he's going to live up to the hype? Also, subscribe to the channel and click the bell so you guys are notified for when new videos drop. Until then, I will see y'all next time. NBA Nerd out.